Texas is a good team, no question about it. It's 7-1, ranked 6th in the country. Are they an elite team? Well, that still remains to be seen. Got a long way to go. But this one particular area against Vanderbilt really drew my attention, and this is what could be what holds them back. Let's talk about penalties next. Hey everybody, Brian Davis covering the Texas Longhorns for A to Z Sports. You know, today on Monday was a really relaxing day, it felt like, for Steve Sarkisian. No practice today. Didn't give the players any workouts on Monday. They'll go light this week because it is their second bye week, which you would expect, downshift. And hey, why is it? There should be a good reason. They should be relaxed. 7-1. And Sarkisian brought up a really interesting point. He said, if you really think about it, we're at the halfway mark of this season. Texas expects to be playing for a national title on January 20th. And if that happens, you're going to play at least 4 or 5 more games beyond the regular season. It could be a 16-game season. That's fascinating to me. So that's how Steve is thinking about it, as they're at the halfway mark. But let's talk about something that happened on Saturday, a little bit of an extension of the Georgia game. Too many penalties. Man, oh man. Some of these penalties were absolute killers. 18 penalties now in the last 2 games that were 2 big ones. 8 against Georgia, 10 against Vanderbilt. And I think if there is an area that Texas really needs to focus on this week, it's the mental IQ aspect of it and cleaning up some things that really hurt them. Go back to the very start of the game against Vanderbilt. A holding call on the opening kickoff. Goodness gracious. Texas has to take the ball, and they start their first possession of this big road game against a ranked opponent on their 8-yard line. Not good. Backed up to start the day off. 5 plays in, Quinn Ewers gets the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's an interception. They go the other way. Pavia runs it in from 18 yards out. Now you're already down 7-0, right? That's how big a penalty may seem like it's not a big deal, but it's a huge impact on the field position and the whole bit. Sark pointed out how he thought there were 4 plays that wiped out what he called explosive gainers, or plays that got first downs, things like that. Trey Wisner, he had a 14-yard gain. That was wiped out because of a penalty. DJ Campbell had a false start. Kelvin Banks with 2 holding penalties. Very unlike him, I thought. And then there was another play where Jaden Blue had a 7-yard gain on 1st and 10. Gunnar Helm got called for holding on that. That wiped that out. But if you go to late in the fourth quarter, some defensive penalties that were just as bad. Andrew Bakuba gets a defensive pass interference call on a ball that maybe he could have even gotten an interception on it, but instead gets picked up for the flag. Vandy keeps going on the fourth. That was a 4th and 7 play. The ball fell incomplete. Maybe woulda, coulda, should have been an interception. The drive keeps going. Vanderbilt scores, and then on Vandy's final touchdown drive of the night, the one that went 75 yards. If you remember, Kobe Black had a fantastic interception, went the other way for a pick 6. Should have been a 72-yard score that would have put the game away for good. But yet Vernon Broughton was initially called for roughing the passer back at the line of scrimmage, and that call was later changed to targeting. So not only did Vanderbilt get to keep going, Broughton was out for the game, and he'll miss the first half of the Florida game as well. Not good. But even Sark pointed out, that's a 14-point swing that happened because of a very unfortunate penalty in terms of bad timing. So it wasn't like the penalties crushed Texas's chances to win. They still won 27-24, but it sure made it harder than it really had to be, right? That, along with some of the offensive things that they had going on there Saturday night, man, those penalties are really hurt. You clean that up, and I think that's what's going to take you to be from a good team to a great team. No doubt about it. Texas, by the way, is 7th in the SEC in average penalty yards per game, about 56 penalty yards per game. Not great, but not the best, but not the worst. Kind of, like I said, kind of middle of the pack. Again, it's an off week this week, but we'll still have plenty of coverage here of Texas here at A to Z Sports. Come see us. Lots of stuff to talk about: recruiting, Sark's mentality of how he wants to approach the off weeks and how he wants to keep this thing going for, like I said, another 8 games possibly, and how he's going to manage the team and do all that. A2Zsports.com/Longhorns is where you can read it all. I'm Brian Davis. I'm out of time. We'll see you next time.